Good morning, YouTube friends and family. It's Travis again, and today I'm going to be hiking Panther Creek Trail. But before I get started, Rebecca had put a comment in my last video, and I needed to put this out as a reminder, and thanks Rebecca for this. But please make sure that if you are coming into the Smoky Mountains that you are getting a parking permit. I've got the annual pass here, so the one I got actually goes through, don't know if you can see it or not, actually goes through all of next year. It's 40 bucks, but they have a one-day pass you can get for $5, I think, and then or $7, and then the week-long pass is I think $15, and you can get those at kiosks that are based here in different areas. But get that because we are getting reports that the Park Service is starting to tow vehicles. I don't know if it's necessarily for not having the parking permit, but maybe parking in an undesignated area. So there is some towing that is now going on, and I'm sure if you don't have the parking permit, you will probably either get a warning or possibly a citation. I think Laurel Falls right now, because that is probably the most visited waterfall and trail in the Smoky Mountains. And it has quite a bit of parking, but when you go through there at peak time, there's too many people trying to get into too few spots. So just be aware of that. So just wanted to mention that real quick, and thanks again Rebecca for bringing that to my attention. I did not realize they were towing yet. So we'll get started right now. All right, so before we get too far into this, let me go ahead and give you some directions on how to get here, and those are coming up right now. If you're driving from the Maryville-Alcoa area, you'll pass through the city of Townsend, and then you will come up here to the Townsend Y, and if you make a left, that takes you back towards Gatlinburg, but today we're actually going to turn right going towards Cades Cove. Left after you turn, so you'll make a left here going towards Tremont, you'll only drive about 3 or 4 minutes, and on the right is parking for West Prong, and to the left is parking for Tremont, and there's also the trailhead for Spruce Flats Falls. I think it's Lumber Bridge Trail that's there also. And then you're going to look like you're going into the middle of nowhere because it goes from a nice smooth paved road, and you're going to hit this gravel. This road follows the river all the way up, and there are several places where you can pull over to park. So this would be a nice place to come up and have like a picnic. It's kind of off the beaten path, so there's not as many people. Like if you're still out on the paved portion going towards Cades Cove or Gatlinburg. And I've also seen several people trout fishing up here. Just make sure that you've got the right fishing license and permits, and double check the type of bait to use as well, because in the national park it's very specific. I won't go through the details on it because I'm not 100% sure. I think it has to be artificial lures, and I think it has to be a single hook, but you can find that information online. But I thought I would mention it because I don't think a lot of people realize that this would be a good place to just kind of come up and relax and have a picnic with your family. One thing though that I would mention, that if you have just washed your car and you don't want it to get dusty and dirty, I probably would not couple of these one-lane bridges, so just be aware of that. And there are some fairly large potholes, so you have to kind of go a little slower, but still pretty decent little drive up here. All right, and then here is the second one-lane bridge that you'll go across. So right now, this early in the morning, it's not too bad, but I expect on the way back there'll be more traffic coming in. Yep, big pothole. And this is also a good road that if you want to find out how many rattles that you have coming from your vehicle, you can find that out real quick, because I've heard a couple of new ones on the Mazda that I wasn't aware of, so that's good. Alright, so it's about maybe a 10-minute drive to get up here, and there is quite a bit of parking compared to some of the other trails, and as you can see, there's already a couple of cars up here, so this place will be completely packed though by the end of the day when I finish this hike. But anyway, I'm gonna get parked here and then we'll get situated. All right, welcome back. So let's kick it off. All right, so as I mentioned, I'm gonna be hiking Panther Creek Trail today. This one's been on my list for a while. Passed it last year and wanted to see where it went. But this one actually starts at Middle Prong Trail, and I'll just pan around. You can see the parking area where we just came up, and then it starts right here where you cross this bridge, which if you decide not to even come up here and do this trail, this is a great spot where you can come and get close to the water and get some very scenic views and really don't have to walk that far. But again, Panther Creek Trail, and I'm doing a loop today because there's like a couple of different ways you can get into Panther Creek, and I think I'm taking the longest possible route. It's going to be 15 miles round trip, assuming that I can actually walk that far. It's going to be by far the longest hike I've done so far, but just to give you an idea of the views right here, there's the water down below, which is a pretty cool sight. And this one's probably even better upstream. So hopefully you can see that. I would recommend, like most of these trails, to get here early. By the time I finish this, there probably will not be any parking spaces because this is a very popular area. And just to let you know, like I said, this starts at Middle Prong Trail, and so Panther Creek, we only go 2.3 miles to get there. But I'm going to go the long way around and come back, and we'll end at Panther Creek. There's a little trail that just goes right up through here that's just along the water, doesn't go very far. But the main trail, you definitely want to go here to the left. So let me put the GoPro on my chest mount and we'll get started. All right, so one cool thing about this trail is, I mean, I've only been walking like 5 minutes, and you come to this site right here, which is awesome. I think it's called Lynn Camp Falls. I'm trying to remember, I think there's a better, I think it's a little farther up, but this is part of it. But we're in the general vicinity. But you walk like 5 minutes, they've got a bench here that you can rest, you're next to the water. The view is just spectacular. So this is a great trail, starting at Middle Prong. And there's going to be some other sites that I'll show you here shortly, but yeah, just an awesome place, and you don't have to walk very far to see some just awesome views. Here's another view of the same waterfall just from the side. give you a view right here. But be very careful. See the water down below. Shot of the water up here. So tons and tons of scenic views on this one. I'm not going to show them all, or this will just be a really long video. And I've got another one that I've done this hike a couple other times. I'll put a link to the longer video. And just about a 10-minute walk and you come up to another little resting area with a couple of benches, and still next to the water. So maybe not a bad place to bring a lunch and just come up here and sit by the water and relax, and it's not that far. And as you can see, it's a pretty good trail as far as it's well maintained and it's wide. Elevation is not too bad, but just being next to the water, there's just something about it. Well, as you can see, the farther you get in on this trail, the more rugged it becomes. So we went from a pretty flat, easy to navigate trail to now it's a lot rockier, and the farther you go, it starts to narrow, and it just gets a little bit more rugged. So just be prepared for that. All right, so at about 1.25 miles, you'll come up to this rock formation, which I don't know why I'm fascinated by this so much, but I'm 50 years old, and every time I come to this one, I feel like I'm 10 years old, like I'm exploring a cave. So anyway, I'm gonna walk through it again as normal. And it just comes out here next to the water, but still pretty awesome little spot. And you're right back on the trail again. And then you'll come across this little wooden bridge, which is awesome. It's been here for a while. And I don't know why I'm fascinated with wooden bridges, but I just absolutely love them. Well, I take that back. I actually like wooden bridges. I like metal bridges, stone bridges, the bridges of Madison County. No, wait, no, I don't like that one. I don't believe that was one of Clint Eastwood's better movies, so strike that last one. All right, so at about 1.75 miles in, you'll see this little trail that breaks off to the right. And this takes you up to the old rusty car. Oh, let's get over this. That looks rougher and rougher every time I come up here, since the poor tree fell on it. But you always have to stop and look at the old car or truck. And I've called it a Ford, others have called it an Oldsmobile. So if you know for sure, let me know, because I really don't. That was a little bit before my time. But anyway, if you hike this trail, you just need to stop and see this. I mean, it's like a landmark, right? All right, so at 2.3 miles into the hike, you come to this intersection. And this is what we're looking for, Panther Creek Trail. So this actually, based on the way that I'm gonna hike, is gonna be our end destination. So this is where I'll come back out. You can actually see the trail on the other side. over there, and we're gonna have to cross the water. So that's why I haven't done this one in the past. I did bring my water shoes today, so may slip those on versus getting my boots all wet and ruining them. But this is the end spot. And a normal human being would go ahead and just hike that and come back, and that would cut out a lot of the mileage. But being the person I am, I'm gonna take the hardest route possible. And I'm gonna go up and circle back around and then end up right here. So this is like old math, and this is common core math. All right, you're going to get to the same spot, just one method takes a lot longer, so just keep that in mind. Well, at about 3.15 miles you come to this little spot, which would be a good little place to take a break, kind of catch your breath before you continue on. But I got a long ways to go, so I'm gonna just keep walking. And at about 3.8 miles in, you'll come to this bridge, which is another pretty awesome sight. Awesome view there of the upstream. There's the downstream shot. But we will continue on. All right, so at this point in the trail, you're gonna come to this curve. It'll open up a little bit here. And the trail that I'll be taking goes on up this direction. But if you don't know where you're going or to look for this, you see this large rock wall, and you follow this trail back through here, and it's going to open up to a little bit of a surprise. So I'm going to film the whole thing. I may edit some of this out, but I just want to let you know it's not that far of a walk once you get back through here, but it does get narrow, and it's a little tricky in some spots, because you might start walking back through here and have second thoughts, change your mind. But I promise you it will be well worth it. I know there's a couple more spots like this that are a little dicey. And I want to come up here in the wintertime when there's snow and see what it looks like. But I also know this trail right here will be treacherous and slick. Oh, I just got cell reception. Got a message update. That's good. I keep the volume on my cell phone so that when I do hit a spot where I've got cell reception, that I'll get a little notification, and then when I go back out, I'll send a text to my wife, let her know, check in that I'm okay and where I'm at. All right, so remember this spot. There's a big old worm here last time that I thought might get me. Oh. And you gotta be careful, these rocks are gonna be slick. Oh, I got another message update. so here we go. If I can get down through here without falling. So welcome to Indian Flats Falls, which is just an awesome sight. Work my way over here. Get a little closer view. So you've got multiple tiers on this. So you've got this one, and then I'm going to circle around here. And then you got this fall, and then another one. So at least 3, maybe 4. And I've got another video where I came up here and I went down and investigated. I'm not going to do that today because I've still got, I mean, this is only like 4 miles in, and I still got to go another, oh gosh, 11 miles. So anyway, pretty cool little spot, and if you don't know it's here, you can miss it very easily. So definitely, if you're gonna hike up here, Middle Prong, if you can go, so it's gonna be 8 miles round trip. If you think you can do 8 miles, definitely at least come to this spot right here. Well worth it. Kind of a hidden gem. A lot of people don't know about it. I didn't know about it the first time I was up here, and we almost missed it, and we had some other hikers just happen to mention it to us. So anyway, there you go. Indian Flats Falls. Get a little better shot of it. All right, so one last shot of Indian Flats Falls before I get out of here, just to prove that I was actually here and this wasn't some random video that I found on the internet. But anyway, we'll continue on. All right, so coming back out from Indian Flats Falls, that's the way we came in, and this is the way we're going to continue this round trip hike. Like I said, this is about the 4 mile marker, and this is about 15 miles round trip, so 11 more miles. So we'll see if I'm cut out for this today. I mean, regardless, if I turned around, it was going to be probably about 8.5 miles, but anyway, this is going to double that. All right, so only about maybe a 5-minute walk from Indian Flats Falls, we come to this intersection. So it's basically telling us Panther Creek Trail is 1.8 from where we just came from. Campsite 28 is 1.5 miles up here. The Lynn Camp Prong Trail, that's the one we're taking, this Miry Ridge Trail. So 1.5 to campsite 28 and 3.7 to Miry Ridge Trail. That's where we got to get to. And then where does this go? So Panther Creek Trail, Tremont is where we came from, 4.1. The Appalachian Trail is that way, 4.2. So at some point, I will attempt to hit the Appalachian Trail. I've never been on it, but it's that way, and you can tell the path is not well traveled. And to be honest, the way we're going doesn't look much better. So anyway, let's head that way. Well, this trail finally leveled out. It's been pretty much uphill the entire time, even, I mean, up to Indian Flats Falls and beyond that. So kind of a nice break now that on flat level ground, at least let me catch my breath for a little bit. All right, so let's come up to this crossing, and about 6.1 miles in, and I can see a sign up here. I think this is where campground 28 is, or campsite 28. I saw some fresh prints, and I don't mean Will Smith, I meant like fresh boot prints on the trail. I don't know if anybody's up here at the campsite or not. so let's see. Jake's Creek Trail 4.8 that way. Miry Ridge Trail 2.4. Another 0.2 miles to the campsite up here, which I assume is that post. And then, let's see, Panther Creek Trail. Which way am I going? Alright, I think I need to continue up this way. We're following the Miry Ridge Trail according to the All Trails. I'm going to walk right up here just to the campsite real quick and see that, but then we'll come back to this point. Alright, so campsite 28. Well, definitely a secluded little spot. Got a place for your fire ring, and then there is a little mountain stream back here. Which is pretty nice. And then there might be another campsite on the other side over here. Let's go look. So there is another campsite here. So at least you got a couple of places in case you get up here and somebody's already at one, which was pretty cool. You got the water that kind of separates you. I don't know if there's anything else down that way. I'm not going to go too far. I got way too big of a hike in front of me still. But yeah, a couple spots here anyway on the water. Definitely secluded. Takes you a while to get here, so I don't know how often these campsites are used, but I can't imagine they're a couple of the more popular ones. Alright, so we will continue on. Well, I noticed this little trail on the way back out from that first campsite. I don't know if you can see it or not, but there are the cables to hang up your food in the air so the bears can't get to it. And that is right down here from this first campsite. I did not check the other one. I'm not going to walk back over there. But at least you've got one set over here right next to the main campsite. And it's just right there. So, alright, back to the main trail. Alright, came up the hills from down there at the intersection after I investigated the campground and got this one little water crossing, but then there appears to be another one up here. I assume this is the same one that feeds into the creek down there between the two campgrounds. But still a pretty cool little spot. Anyway, it's always kind of nice to come across a water source like that. And there's another one right here, small one. I mean, that one back there looks more like a creek, and this is maybe just runoff from when it rains. And we've been getting several afternoon thunderstorms recently because of the heat, and I assume that's what's feeding that right now. All right, well, this is the first major obstacle that I've come across. Not too bad. Let's go up here around it, but still kind of a pain. And I have seen a lot of tracks on this trail. Not human tracks. It looks like deer and bear from what I can tell. But I have yet to see any wildlife other than a few birds. So I'll keep you posted if I come across anything. Alright, so here is another little water crossing. I would assume this is just runoff, but still a pretty nice little stream. And this is at the 7 mile mark. So, I got about another half mile before I get to the halfway point. So I may have bitten off more than I can chew on this one. I knew it was going to be tough, but we'll see. I think I got enough gas left in the tank to make it through the rest of this. Well, at the 7.3 mile mark, come across another water crossing. And I know you guys probably get tired of seeing these, but I'll be honest, when you're just walking the trail and you get something like this, number one, you get a little bit of sound, which is soothing, and two, it just breaks up the monotony of the trail itself. So I actually like seeing these when I come across them. So that's why I'm showing them, just to let you know that there are a few. Anyway, we'll head on. All right, so at about the 7.7 mile mark, come across another little water crossing. But basically this is my halfway point. So I'm gonna take a little break here and eat a protein bar and drink some water and rest for a few minutes. But this trail so far, it's how do I explain it? It hadn't been super challenging, but I have seen a lot of signs of bear activity. I think I mentioned earlier I have seen some bear scack or poop. I have seen a lot of overturned rocks, especially around the water areas like this, and I've seen several muddy footprints or paw prints. So definitely some bear activity going on in this area, but I have yet to see anything in person. And you know me, I actually want to see a bear, which means we won't see one, so I won't get it on video. But anyway, I'm gonna rest for a minute and just kind of give you an update where we're at. But yeah, this is where I'm headed, up this bank to continue on. But like I said, I'm only about halfway there, so I'll catch back up with you here in just a minute. Alright, you're not gonna be able to see it on this GoPro, but I just happened to see it out of the corner of my eye. There is a bear right down here. I've lost sight of, oh, there he is. See him? It's a younger one. He's running. I doubt you can see it. But just happened to see him out of the corner of my eye. I was trying to get the dang GoPro turned on and it was giving me issues. And, I mean, that's a younger one. That's probably a yearling. So he's probably not a year, 18 months old, pretty small, out by himself. And, I mean, he's probably still, I don't know, 100 pounds, 125. And I mean, I never heard him. Like, they're almost, like, in stealth mode. I mean, he was just walking through the woods, and if I hadn't seen him with my own eyes, I would have never known he was there. So, anyway, pretty cool. I did get to see one. That's only the second one this year, and I'm pretty excited about that. That makes this whole trail worthwhile just to see that. So I know it's not going to show up on the GoPro. I'm going to have to upgrade and get a newer one, hopefully one that can zoom in. But anyway, I got to see it. So That's 2 for the year. I'll take it. All right, so we're coming up here to the next intersection. Let's see, mileage-wise, where we're at. 8.6 miles. 8.6. And let's see. All right, there's a sign back there that say no horses, I guess that way, on the trail. So where does that go? The Appalachian Trail, 2.5 miles that direction. Jake's Creek Trail, 2.5. Panther Creek Trail, 2.5. That is where we're headed. Panther Creek. And this is where we just came from. So Middle Prong Trail, 3.7 that way. And that campsite 28, 2.2. So 2.2 miles from that campsite to get to here. All right, so Panther Creek, 2.5. That's where we're headed, this direction. All right, as you can see, there are some parts of this trail where the weeds are overtaking the actual trail itself. So even though it's August and it is going to be warm today, that's one of the main reasons I still wear long pants when I hike, just for the fact that so many weeds. You don't know when you're going to bump up against poison ivy or poison oak, any kind of insects. So would I like to be wearing shorts? Yes, it would be much cooler. But for these trails that I know that are very, very narrow and overgrown with weeds, I always wear pants for that reason. So I mean, they're lightweight and they're dry fit, but still shorts would be much cooler. But just not in the cards today for this trail. All right, so I wasn't expecting this, I don't think. Campground 26, and I don't, unless it's right back through there. I'm gonna check all trails real quick, see what it shows. Campground 26, yep, sure enough. Walk back here real quick just to see if this is it, because there's not much of a trail. I mean, I don't know. I think my curiosity's got the best of me so far, because I don't even know if it's a dabbling trail. I mean, there's been people walk back through here, because you can see the path, but I'm not going to go too much farther. I was just curious if there's actually a campsite back here. Well, what do you know? There is. You talking about being remote. There's the cable system. Put your food up. And then so let's see what all this is. and my phone's going off. It's the All Trails app telling me I'm getting off trail. And so there's a sign here that says water that way. I'm not going to go that far. I'm assuming there's a creek or something close. And then, let's see here. Man, I'm getting lit up with spider webs. And then here's something. It's locked up by the Park Service, I assume. And there is another cable system right here. And I see one makeshift campsite, but they just got rocks there. It's not an actual fire ring, metal fire ring, which I thought had to be used. So I guess this is the primary campsite. And yeah, it's just rocks around where you build your fire, but I mean, at least you got something there. So anyway, well, I'm glad I did come back here just to find this. But man, that was kind of a walk to get to it. This one's definitely secluded. I thought that other one was bad, but this one's off by itself. All right, headed back to the trail. So my All Trails app will quit barking at me. It's telling me, hey, check and see where you're going, dummy. All right, so I made it back. There's the post for campsite 26. We just came from that way, so we're gonna head back this direction. Well, this trail from the time I left that campsite until now has not been a whole lot of fun. It's been very narrow, lots of briars overhanging the trail. I mean, you can see this is pretty close quarters going down through here, and I'm hitting a spider web about every 5 feet, so not a whole lot of fun, but hopefully it looks like it's opening up a little bit here, which is much, much better. Alright, so where I got to that little open spot, I saw some trails coming up through here. I just wanted to see why, and this is why. Hopefully you can see that. A view of the mountains from here. Much, much better. I don't know if I can get any higher up here. Let's see if this goes up any farther. Well, it does. I just don't know what I'm getting into. I don't know if this is any better or not. I don't think so. I think I had a better spot down there. Let's try just a tad higher here. About as far as I can go. Nope. I think the other view is better. Let's work my way back down here. Yeah, I don't think it's going to get much better than this, based on all the trees and everything that are fully in bloom and got leaves. But that's pretty awesome from this spot. This is out of the whole trail so far, this is the first time I've had an open view of the mountains like this. So I was hoping I'd get one eventually. It just took a while. Just working my way back down from up there, where I was showing you the view, just to kind of see where I was at. So this is the direction I just came from. hit this open spot, and I just happened to see these rocks, and you can see that there's a couple of trails that go up through there. So I just went up a little ways and got the view, but pretty neat. Definitely a view I've been waiting for. All right, coming up here to the next intersection. It is, see how long it took me to get here. 11.5 miles. And let's see, where are we headed? Panther Creek. So to get to Middle Prong Trail is where we started, 2.2 miles. So I got to go 2.2 that way, and then I think it's like 2.3 miles back down. So what, 4.5 miles? So I'm getting close. Jake's Creek. So this is the other way that you can come in to Panther Creek. Jake's Creek, which starts over in Elkmont campground. You can come up through here, which probably been the easier of the two, but I wanted to knock this loop out for a while. And then of course this is where we came from, Lynn Camp Prong, 2.5 miles back that way, and then the Appalachian Trail 5. So I did, when I got down here, there were 3 people on horseback, and they definitely took the easier way to get here, and they're headed back. So they're going the opposite direction that I was going, but luckily I'm going back downhill, and they took the smarter option of just riding horseback. So anyway, let's get started and we'll go this way. Well, this is what we have all been waiting for, Panther Creek Trail. Yeah, it's I don't think it's gonna be all that exciting, to be honest. Well, this is the first point of interest I've come to, and this is just basically a small water crossing. But just wanted to let you know that there is a little bit of activity going on. I'm hoping there's going to be a few more of these before it's all said and done. Got to find something to make this trail a little bit exciting as I publish on this video. All the water seems to be running down the trail here. Maybe I'll slip and fall. That'll make for some good footage. So here is a much better water crossing. Definitely a lot more interesting than the first one. Water coming down through here too. That was a good one. So how much you want to bet that this is Panther Creek, since this is Panther Creek Trail? I'm just gonna make that assumption. I don't really know, but man, it's gotta be somewhat reasonable. So here comes another water crossing, hopefully across Panther Creek on Panther Creek Trail. The one good thing about coming this direction is it's been all downhill, thank goodness. I felt like I spent about the first 10 hours going straight uphill. So let's get across this little crossing here. Ooh. All right, not too bad. Oh, there you go. A little bit of water. Something to look at. Well, we get to cross over the creek again. Panther Creek, hopefully. Whoa. Whoa, man, slick too. Slicker than house nut. Gotta be careful. Of course, my legs are almost mush. Been walking 12.5 miles so far. Since about 7 o'clock this morning. It's almost 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so that's not helping any. And here's another creek crossing. Pretty wide one, that is. It's not very deep though, thank goodness. So at least a few water crossings to help break up the monotony of this trail. And looks like another one. Just keeps crisscrossing back and forth. Okay, this one looks like it'll be a little bit more of a challenge. Maybe not too bad. Oh no. I thought I heard another water crossing on the horizon, and sure enough, here we are. Ooh. Made it. Whoa. Woo, that was slick. Hey kids, look, it's another water crossing. Yahoo! Oh. And guess what? I think we got another one. Well, this is a good one. Ta-da! Oh my goodness, I think we are finally here. Oh, I'm not gonna lie, I've been dreaming about this moment for about the past 2 miles coming downhill. My feet are on fire. There may be steam come out of the water when I put my feet in. So I'm gonna have to take my shoes off. They're waterproof, but this water is gonna come way up over those. And I don't want to get my socks and my boots drenched, because I've still got to hike out another 2.3 miles from here. So anyway, look at all the butterflies. Here we go. Oh. Alright, so do not make fun of my lily white feet. This is like Planet Fitness. It's a judgment-free zone. Good thing is I've got an audience across the creek, so they'll get to see if I fall on my butt. So I don't know how this is going to go, to be honest. This is deeper than I thought. A lot deeper. Too deep. See if I can make it across here. Oh, I'm running out of space. Well, that definitely went much better than I expected. I thought for sure I was going to be in the water. Actually, I'm going to soak my feet for a little bit. It was Panther Creek Trail, but I took the longest way possible to get there. It's going to be probably 16 miles when all said and done, round trip. Probably 8 hours. I'll put the definites at the end of it, like how long it actually took. I'm filming it right now while I'm still on Panther Creek before I get to the end of that, just for the fact that once I run into Middle Prong, there's going to be a ton of people up through there, and just didn't want to do that in public. So anyway, I will I'll go ahead and edit this back in. So this will be towards the end, and then you'll see me actually. I'm going to film once we get to the end here, crossing Panther Creek, but so I'll edit that out. So good news and bad news. If good news is if you're seeing the video itself, that means I made it, and I am able to hike 16 miles. The bad news is I just hiked 16 miles. So moral of the story is don't hike Panther Creek and go the way that I did. Way too long. Highly recommend Middle Prong. Lots of things to see. I mean, you start off with the one across the bridge. You've got the waterfall that you can see. You got the old rusty car. You've got where you can see Panther Creek Trail where it goes, and then according to the finale is going up to Indian's Flat Falls, which by far one of my favorites. But then when I went on up, there was a couple of campsites. Actually did see a bear, so like I said, that made the whole hike worth it for me. So just not a lot going on this last part of the trail. It's just basically being out here by yourself. So if that's what you're looking for, this is definitely one to hit. But I did bring 2 bottles of water. Normally I just bring 1 with me, but I knew I would need some extra, and I'm about out on both of those. So make sure that you bring plenty of water and something to snack on. I normally take about 4 to 5 protein bars. I brought like 7 or 8 this time. I've already been through like 5 of them. So I mean, this is a full day's hike for me. So anyway, hopefully you enjoyed that video. If you did, please hit the like button, and I'd also ask if you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. That way when I put a new video out, it'll just give you a notification. And I think it's been like 3 weeks since I put out the last video, so you're not going to get completely overwhelmed with those. But like I said, hopefully you enjoyed it, and until next time, just keep walking.